Hi, Pastor Nathan Decker with your hashtag Better Together devotion for today. And this week I've been talking about the highs, ways to getting closer to God, as well as some of the pitfalls. And today I want to talk about both of those. So, one of those is that sometimes in a relationships, as a pastor, when I'm doing premarital counseling, I try really hard to set people on good paths, good habits for their lifelong marriage. That's one of my goals as a pastor whenever I'm sitting down with a couple. And one of the things that I often find that is the hiccup in the relationships, depending on the amount of time the relationships have been together, is whether or not they've passed what I call the puppy dog love phase into the mature love phase. And here's what that means, is that when you first see somebody, when you first are encountering somebody that you're attracted to, you want to get involved with, you start thinking with a mindset that is like, how do I impress this person? How do I get them to look at me and see me? How do I get their attention? And so you begin thinking about things, doing things differently than you normally would. You do them differently with a goal, an aspect of you change your life for the other person. Now we do this in American culture, especially because think about it, when you're getting ready for a date, you shave when you normally wouldn't shave. You go and put on extra cologne or a perfume. You doll up your hair. You wear an outfit or a dress or something like that you wouldn't normally have worn. You do something different. Now, changing yourself for the other person with the goal of meeting the other person is not the way to do this. And that's what I'm talking about, the difference between puppy dog love versus mature love. Now, mature love doesn't change for the other person. Mature love changes with the other person on a lifelong journey. And that's the kind of relationship that we actually want spiritually with God. When we're two entities working together, over the years, my wife and I have changed. We've changed each other. We've changed for each other in a way that we've merged together, and we're on this journey heading in the same direction. And just the interaction with each other changes us. And it's more of a gradual change. It's less of a change for the other person, but more of a change because of the love that we have for each other. And that's the change that God desires in our lives. I think sometimes people read the Bible and they see or they look at church and faith and they see rules and regulations and fuddy-duddies and no fun. And the reason they see it that way is because they understand it as a perspective of, oh, I've got to change to be able to get into a relationship with God. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. That's like saying that, I got to get well before I can go to the ER. That's not right. No, you go to the doctor to get healthy or to get help from the doctor. We go to God because we want to get to know who God is, and that relationship we have with God automatically begins making us better. That relationship we have with God and with God's people automatically begins making us a better human being. Are we going to get it right immediately? No. Took Paul a long time in the desert wandering around and talking with Peter to figure out some faith things. And even then, he had some major anger issues. Just go read his letters. All of us are going through a constant transformation. And throughout the journey of our lives, we should be resolved to get closer to God, because by getting closer to God, we encounter more of God's love. And just hanging out with God makes us change who we are, not because of some goal or legalistic understanding, or I'm not changing for God so that God loves me more, but because of who I am by being with God. I just automatically start doing things differently. I see it all the time in couples. The longer couples hang out together, sometimes they even start looking like each other. It's amazing how the longer that we stay with Christ, the more we start looking like Jesus to the world. Hang out with God, and by doing so, find that God is changing who you are this year. Be better together because of it.